If you are an introvert, you are by default different from the rest of the crowd, because generally speaking, extroverts outnumber introverts. In today's video, I want to share 3 points about being an introvert based on my personal experiences. First, let me just go on record and say, despite what society and pop culture and even your friends and family might say about introverts, there's absolutely nothing wrong about being an introvert. Being introverted is completely normal, in the same way as being extroverted is also completely normal. Being either of these two simply boils down to different personality traits. I'm not trying to put these two personality types up against each other, nor am I saying one is better than the other. One prefers solitude and minimum social interactions, whereas the other prefers group settings and more social interactions. And then there are even ambiverts, people that have a mixture of traits from both introversion and extroversion. Now, I've always been an introvert for as long as I can remember. However, it wasn't until my mid to late 20s that I understood and finally accepted the fact that I'm an introvert. In fact, I'm grateful that I am an introvert, especially in this day and age with the rise of loneliness in society. For example, I'm perfectly capable of doing activities by myself, such as going to the movies or to a restaurant. I can even go on solo trips abroad by myself whenever I have time off from work. As an introvert, you don't really need that many friends. Even having one close friend is all you need. Before all of that, I was not content with my introverted nature. I tried to deny and suppress it, thinking that I was the problem for not fitting in. To get by in most social settings, I did what most introverts have to do, and that is to perform. Basically putting on a fake smile and just behave more like an extrovert. One of my favorite quotes relating to this video's topic is from the 2018 game Detroit Become Human. The quote is spoken during the storyline of Marcus, one of the playable androids. He's a protagonist in the game, and it goes like this. This world doesn't like those who are different, Marcus. Don't let anyone tell you who you should be. Speaking about being different, this is the first point I want to bring up. Introverts are reserved, quiet, and deep thinkers, but that doesn't make them less social. Society has this idea that being social and talkative is the default norm in life, no matter where you are, whether that be in the workplace, with groups of people, or other social settings. Just to give you some personal examples, people find it weird and often comment that I rarely join social events, and instead I prefer to spend time alone during the weekends, and especially after work. I never join any after work social event. It's not weird, it's just different. I drink my coffee black with no milk. To me, having milk in your coffee is just different. Some people, for some reason, associate being different as weird in the sense of that it's a negative thing. Maybe it's just a herd mentality thing, I really don't know. The second point about introverts is the need to spend time alone. Introverts get drained if they spend too much time around others, especially around people they're out of sync with. And honestly speaking, spending time by myself has really never bothered me. I simply enjoy doing my own things, such as reading books or playing an engaging, story-driven single-player game, which is also one of the reasons why I picked up gaming again after I quit a few years ago. I covered that topic in my previous video, so you can check that one out. Also, being in solitude is where I become most creative. Ideas seem to naturally come, and I'm able to think and organize my thoughts better. One of my other hobbies is writing, and my writing becomes so much better when I'm alone and I can easily enter the flow, that is, a heightened sense of concentration. So what I want to get across with this second point here is that introverts are more productive and efficient when by themselves. Solitude sort of like activates deep focus and concentration in us. The third and last point about being an introvert is, to me at least, the hardest part. And that is, you are misunderstood by most people. And the reason for that is because people can't really read or figure you out. They simply can't put you in a box. The human mind prefers predictable and familiar patterns. As an introvert, you often find yourself in situations where you have to explain yourself, like why you're declining after work social events, why you don't like small talks, why you'd rather spend the weekends doing your own stuff, just to give a few examples. And also, your quiet nature might be interpreted by others as being shy, timid, aloof, anxious, socially awkward, and so on. Some people might outright think that you're arrogant because you don't talk much, or that you don't like other people. Therefore, they often avoid you, and you might even be disliked just because of the fact that you are so different. This goes back to my first point. People tend to connect with other people that are similar to themselves in both interests and behavior. And yes, of course, this applies to both introverts and extroverts. I think it's hardwired in our DNA and is probably related to how we evolved as a species. Our ancestors had to find similar, like-minded people that they could trust and who could contribute to the provision and well-being of the tribe, and thus ensure its future survival. But that doesn't mean that introverts and extroverts can get along, because for the most part throughout history and in society we do get along, and we have to get along to make things work. In fact, many of my closest friends were indeed extroverts. So I think some general understanding about these two personality types, whether you are introvert or extrovert, if you could just understand a little bit about how the other personality types works, I think overall it could make things a lot easier. I talked a lot about this topic today, but actually I don't really make a big deal out of it in my day-to-day interactions with people. I respect and embrace my introverted nature. So in today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and just give you my 2 cents about it. Anyway, I'm sure there are points to cover about this topic in later videos. If this was relatable or if you have similar thoughts, I'd like to read it in the comment sections. So until then, farewell.